Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. It's another Friday news segment, and today we're going to be looking at the privacy news for this week. So, of course, we all know about smart televisions, but the thing is, finally, Congress is at least asking questions. Not that it ever really gets anywhere. I mean, they asked a lot of questions of Mark Schmuckerberg, and that didn't get anyway. But this article came out in the New York Times looking at how smart TVs in millions of U.S. homes track more than what's on tonight. This is interesting. And so this is kind of a piece about these individual devices, and primarily almost all of these companies all go back to this organization called Samba TV, who installs software on your smart television. And they just have deals with a variety of different TV sets from, Sony, Sharp, TLC, Philips, probably some other ones. They say roughly dozens of brands. When you first set your TV, there's a little screen like, hey, would you like to enable this? And it's probably something that's fairly small. But when you enable that, basically the television can see absolutely everything that's on the TV. They can make connections to any other device that is on your network shared with the TV. So if your phone is on there and, your computer's on there and everything else is on there, they can make a lot of connections back into that, and they collect tons of information. So what do? The company said it collects viewing data from 13.5 million smart TVs in the United States, and it has raised $40 million in venture funding from investors, including Time Warner, the cable operator Liberty Global, and the billionaire Mark Cuban. Samba TV has struck deals with roughly a dozen TV brands, including Sony, Sharp, TCL, Philips, to place its software on certain sets. When people set up their TV screens, a screen urges them, and probably annoys the bejeebers and constantly pops up until you click yes, to enable the service called Samba Interactive TV, saying it recommends shows and provides special offers by, quote, cleverly recognizing on-screen content, end quote. But the screen, which contains the enable button, does not detail how much information Samba TV collects to make those recommendations. They declined to present recent statistics, but one of its executives said at the end of 2016 that more than 90% of people opted in. Once enabled, Samba TV can track nearly everything that appears on TV on a second-by-second basis, essentially reading pixels to identify networks, shows, ads, as well as programs on HBO and even video games played on the TV. Samba TV has even offered advertisers the ability to base their targeting on whether people watch conservative or liberal media outlets and which party's presidential debate they watched. The big draw for advertisers, which have included Citi, JetBlue, and now Expedia, is that Samba TV can also identify other devices in the home that share the TV internet connection. Samba TV, which says it has adhered to privacy guidelines from the Federal Trade Commission, does not directly sell its data. Instead, advertisers can pay the company to direct ads to other gadgets in the home after their TV commercial plays, or one from a rival airs. Advertisers can also add to their websites a tag from Samba TV that allows them to determine if people visit after watching one of their commercials. All right, and so again, this just goes right back to these guys are collecting everything. Absolutely everything. You want smart TV functions? Get yourself a Raspberry Pi, put up an open source media center, and connect it to your dumb TV. There you go. But we have all of this stuff. Let's see, who's quote this box here. Let me read this article. It has a lot of hot button things that trigger me, so let's read it. If it sounds a lot like the internet, a company with little name recognition, tracking your behavior, then slicing and dicing it to sell ads, that's the point. But consumers do not typically expect the so-called idiot box to be a savant. Okay, it's still not intuitive that the box maker or the software embedded by the box maker is going to be doing this, said Justin Broker, Director of Consumer Privacy and Technology Policy at the advocacy group Consumers Union and former Policy Director at Federal Trade Commission. Quote, I'd like to see companies do a better job making it clear and explaining the value proposition to customers. So apparently here is the screen. So enable the Samba Interactive TV is kind of in the option. About 45% of TV households in the United States have at least one smart TV. The end of 2017, IHS market data showed Samba TV, which is based in San Francisco, has about 250 employees, competes against several companies, including Inscape, the data arm of the consumer electronics maker Vizio, and the startup called Alfonso. So basically, this is one of several different companies that we've never heard anything about that are just out there collecting all of this data. And so this is really a stand we need to take, is maybe we need to get these companies out in the public view and identify exactly what they're doing and direct our politicians, if it's at all possible, to allow us to have complete and total user opt-out data. Like, I'm going to use a government or a form or whatever else to say, you now must delete all of my data, and I want to see that happen. That is certainly something that we need to be doing. So if you happen to have a smart TV, look for the ability to turn this crap off if you've turned it on. If you are looking for a TV, I would encourage you to find a dumb TV. Don't rely on these things. If you want this type of functionality, be a little bit safer. Like I said, the Kodi box is good. Of course, you can't necessarily do Netflix or Hulu or things on those. There's other solutions for that, like a gaming console or a Roku box or something like that, which still I wouldn't trust with that, but I trust it a whole lot more than something hard baked into your television. So be careful with that kind of stuff. Of course, here is the letter that was sent to the FTC from a couple of senators, Markey and Blumenthal. So they wrote this letter basically to urge the FTC to investigate this. So, of course, if the FTC follows business as usual, they're going to investigate this. In about 8 years, about every consumer in the country who's had a smart TV in the last 3 years from the time they complete that will probably receive $5 and whatever. But, that's how it works, because that's how, it's just a win-win for companies. But anyway, it sounds kind of scary when Senate calls you up, but really their power is, they're neutered goats. They think they're doing things, but they can't accomplish much. But you can read that letter. I'll go ahead and link that in there. Which one's this article? I don't remember this one. Oh, yeah. The Energy and Commerce Committee sent letters to Apple CEO and the Alphabet CEO, Cook and Page. It sounds like I want to turn the page in my cookbook. I don't know. To probe the company's representations of third-party access to consumer data. Guys, at what point in time are we just going to say, all right, listen, no company may collect data without a very extensive written opt-in? That would solve a lot of the problems. Unfortunately, that's counter to where our culture and country is going right now with all of this stuff. So kind of sad, and that's really what we need to see happening, but it's not happening. But anyway, basically they sent some letters out. There's some suggestions made to both CEOs. Recent reports have also suggested smartphone devices can, and in some instances, do collect non-triggered audio data from users' conversations near a smartphone in order to trigger phrase such as "Okay Google" or "Hey Siri." It has also been suggested that third-party applications have access to this non-triggered data without disclosures in users. So basically asking information about that. To Mr. Cook, they write, in wake of the privacy scandals that surfaced earlier this year, you made several comments to the press around Apple's belief about privacy, including, quote, "We've never believed these detailed profiles of people that have incredibly deep personal information that have patched together from several sources should exist. However, users have consistently had access to apps through the App Store that have highlighted as contradictory Apple's values, including Google and Facebook apps. Only a few weeks ago, Apple announced changes to its App Store rules that were characterized as attempted to limit how much data third-party app developers can collect from Apple devices. These statements and actions raise questions about how Apple device users' data is protected and when it is shared and compiled." And I will also remind you, the article, I think I covered it last week, where Facebook and Apple, they were completely in bed together regarding the amount of data shared between the two services. Facebook and, about every big company that was out there. To Mr. Page of Alphabet /Google, June 2017, Google announced changes to Gmail that would halt scanning of contents user emails to personalize advertisements to, quote, keep privacy and security paramount, end quote. Last week, reports surfaced that in spite of this policy change, Google has still permitted third parties to access of users' contents of users' emails, including message text, email signatures, and receipt data to personalize context. In case you missed that, I think I also talked about that last week, where if you had selected any app to allow access to your Google account, in many instances, real, actual, physical humans would really actually physically read your real emails. It wasn't a computerized algorithm. It was real people reading messages for various things. And if you didn't know that, that's wrong. And so, once again, neutered goats, but hey, at least they're pretending to do something. Snapchat now has a new service that when you snap something, you have a camera search function that is going to send all that data to Amazon, Shazam, and, quote, other partners, whoever those other partners are, maybe the NSA, I don't know, in order to see search results. So basically, you could do this with barcodes in the past. This is a little bit more capable. Basically, yeah, anything you put on Snapchat could very possibly end up in Amazon, Shazam, and numerous other places as well. And so that's kind of fun to keep in mind, is that, yeah, just snapping a photo anymore, it's just automatically going out to parties, and you may or may not have been aware of all of that. So that's kind of exciting. Google, do more with Google Pay. This is exciting. You know, it's like, I mean, nobody carries cash anymore, which is a big problem. It's like you're going out, splitting a dinner, it's like, oh, only got a card. Oh, only got a card. Oh, only got a card. How do we split this up? Very simple solution. We do it every other Tuesday on my bi-weekly business lunch that we have. It's called put the bill on separate checks. Shocking. You could put a bill on separate checks? Holy moly. All right. But the idea here is that, oh, you can use your cell phone now and you can transfer money back and forth with Google Pay and all this kind of stuff. Now, the thing is that with this is it can now also support your concert tickets and your boarding passes. So whatever your tickets, tickets for concerts, boarding passes for planes, you can scan all that stuff right there on your phone. So now Google knows the music you're going to listen to live. They know what planes you're flying in and out of. They know all this. Basically, I mean, this is just giving Google a whole lot more information that they think they have enough. And again, I don't want any type of that stuff connected to my phone. Okay, this device here is one of the easiest to lose. They're not necessarily inherently secure. It's best to not do anything super private on your phone. And it's also best to not link your payment options to the phone. You don't want to do that kind of crap. You just don't, Keep payment stuff off of there, Oh, boy. The Verge is up on this Facebook stuff. So Facebook here opens up an overwhelming data set for election research. So basically, they're like, this is only publicly shared data. Yeah, once again, it was either last week or the week before. Remember when Facebook accidentally released publicly a whole lot of data from 9 million users that was supposed to be private? All that's public record, and yeah, that would be leaked in this for sure. Any future bugs. So basically, Facebook's taking all of this information and releasing it so that political parties and other potentially nefarious people can study it in depth and know all of the deep ins and outs of every little crazy nook and cranny thing that we are doing. That is nutsoid. So yeah, they have opened up this, and they said an overwhelming data set. Yeah, basically because it contains data on, every bit of data on about every bit of person out there, because Facebook keeps opening more and more and more stuff up as public, and you don't even know it. And that's why you should delete your Facebook account. And again, The Verge is just up on Facebook. UK issues the maximum fine over Cambridge Analytica. Yes, the United Kingdom government stepped up to the plate. $664,000 fine. Okay, here's another reason we need to do away with big corporations. Because Facebook, okay, ready? Go. 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 Between every one of those goes, they just made $600,000, okay? This is like me walking down the street and finding a penny and getting fined for stopping in the aisle. Let's give them a golf clap for fining Facebook the maximum amount. This is a mega corporation. This is the problem with mega corporations. They have this big fine and they're like, this is massive, this is huge, this is problematic. Not for a company that's worth trillions. This is a penny laying on the ground. You want to hurt Facebook? Why don't you fine them 3 times their global profit? 3 times their global annual profit. Kidding? People don't want to see your butt. All right. Okay. You want to punish Facebook for this kind of stuff? That's it. Okay, Facebook, how much money did you make this year? Oh, you made $6 billion? Okay then, your fine is $18 billion. Shape up next time or we're going to triple that. You want to stop these companies? That's what's going to happen. This is nothing. This is an insult. Mark Zuckerberg is laughing about this. We got the biggest fine in the world. There it is. It's in my sneeze. Better go back to the drawing board, UK. You missed the boat. Well, if you're in California, Carbon Programmer, talking to you. California shopping centers. So there's about 46 or so. Is it 46 or 48? 40-something shopping centers. 46 shopping centers that are owned by this one company in California that basically have camera networks all over the place, and they're sending all of the license plate, travel, and customer data and facial recognition stuff back to ICE. Okay, so the Irvine Company disclosed the 3 shopping centers are Irvine Spectrum, Fashion Island, and the Marketplace. Local police departments are Irvine, Newport Beach, and Tustin police departments. So Irvine Company is a customer of Vigilant Solutions. Vigilant employees are ALPR Technology and our 3 Orange County regional shopping centers. Vigilant is required by contract to have assured us that ALPR data collect these locations is only shared with local police departments. So apparently there's 3 that only shares it locally. EFF urges Irvine to release the names of the 3 regional shopping centers that are under surveillance. So apparently maybe it's only 3 of them, but still this is kind of a big deal that this company owns shopping centers that are basically collecting a lot of data and handing it over to government. So they contacted them with a series of questions about the surveillance program, including which malls deploy these. So they did give the names and locations. So in December 2017, ICE signed a contract with Vigilant Solutions to access license plate reader database. The data from the Irvine Company malls directly feeds into Vigilant Solutions database system according to the policy. This means that ICE can spy on mall visitors without their knowledge and receive near real-time alerts when targeted vehicle is spotted in a shopping center's parking lot. Vigilant Solutions dealing with ICE have come under growing scrutiny in California as the Trump administration accelerates its immigration enforcement. City of Alameda rejected a contract with Vigilant Solutions following the community outcry over its contract with ICE. City of San Pablo put an expansion of its surveillance network on hold due to the same concerns. But ICE isn't the only agency accessing ALPR data. Vigilant Solutions shares data with as many as 1,000 law enforcement agencies nationwide. Through its sister company, Digital Recognition Network, Vigilant Solutions also tells ALPR data to financial lenders, insurance companies, and debt collectors. Yay! Oh, boy. I guess we'll, in all fairness, we'll read the next one, which is their statement. Irvine is committed to limiting the access... Oh, boy, the PR people are lying again. They're talking. Irvine is committed to limiting the access and the use of ALPR information in a manner that is consistent with respect for individuals' privacy and civil liberties. The Irvine Company writes in its policy. Accordingly, contractors used to collect ALPR information on Irvine's behalf, and Irvine employees are not authorized to access or use ALPR information or ALPR systems. The Irvine Company says it deletes the data once it has been transmitted to Vigilant Solutions. That's exciting. If you're a Netflix user, Netflix now has its smart. They launched the download feature in 2016, so you could download some things. Now they're introducing smart downloads. So when you finish watching a program on Netflix, it's going to delete that program. It's going to automatically download the next program of that series. All the more to follow AT&T's model there and get you just more on there. This is okay if you're using the system right. You know, I mean, I can understand this. It's kind of neat. And really, they made it so it does the auto delete stuff so that you're not using up too many things. And apparently, you can only have a certain number of episodes from Netflix downloaded at any given time. So it helps you do that. Basically, automates it. It does not do it over mobile data. It will only do it under a hotspot, and you can disable the feature as well. So for me, that's kind of the reason I include it is, Netflix knows too much about us. Maybe we should be a little bit more cautious with it. Maybe not put it on the smartphone. So that's just kind of my thought. What are your thoughts on all these news articles? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.